Hey everybody, welcome to Tyngsborough TV Live. It's the Friday wrap-up. I'm Town Media Director Steve Brogan, and it's a crazy Friday. It's been a crazy week. Lots and lots of things going on. Thanks for tuning in. If you are watching this, you can watch us on a whole bunch of different places that we share it out to and post it on. So all the different pages on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're watching there, feel free to chime in, ask questions, join in on the conversation as we talk. And if we have guests, you can always ask questions of the guests. You can also watch us on Comcast 8, Verizon Channel 29 here in the town of Tyngsborough, and at tyngsboroughma.gov on our live video on demand and streaming service. So we got a whole bunch of interesting things to talk about today. Some stuff Tyngsborough related and some stuff not. Some just kind of fun things. I don't have any specific guest other than my two assistants here, my willing and somewhat unwilling assistants, I guess. They'd tell you they're willing, but they're probably not. No, I'm just kidding. So we're just going to kind of riff and have a little fun today. It's Friday. It's going to be kind of a crummy weekend. So, we can talk about some more fun things, I guess. And also the Boston Marathon, we'll talk about that a little bit too, because that's happening on Monday, and one of Tyngsborough's own is running in that, Miss Beth Craig, so very excited about that. That should be pretty interesting. Let me turn you guys' mics on.
There we
go.
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Shout out to Beth.
Yes. So that's pretty cool. So we'll talk about a few things. Before we get to all that stuff, we'll talk about just some of the news stuff that's happening here in town. So just really quickly, since obviously it is a Monday holiday, if you have trash pickup this coming Monday, then you're obviously delayed till Tuesday. So that's from the, it's right up on the board page on Facebook. And she's put it out on a number of other places as well. But this is due to Monday holiday, April 15th being Patriots Day. We would like to remind all residents that town offices will be closed and regular trash and recycling on A streets will be postponed a day and collected on Tuesday the 16th. So if you're in A street, you'll be postponed to Tuesday, as I said. So that's a pretty easy one to get to. What else is going on? Yeah, so I wanted to mention too the Winslow School reunion. I'm going to show this out just in a little bit after the show is done. But the Winslow School reunion is happening also on May 4th, so next month, from 11 to 3 over at the Winslow School. They're actually saying now meet at Old Town Hall. So I guess they're doing that across the street. They're going to take pictures at the Winslow School. I know that much. But they'll have music and food and a bunch of different things there. So they basically just wanted to get everybody together, anybody who's an alumni of the Winslow School, to get together, talk, and share memories and all that kind of stuff. So if you're an alumni of the school, then this will be the party for you. So go check it out on May 4th from 11 to 3 over at, they're saying to meet at Old Town Hall. I imagine they'll be walking back and forth between the Winslow School.
That's what it says on the Eventbrite over here.
Okay, yeah. And just so everybody knows, there will not be any tours inside of the old Winslow School. It's unsafe at this point for general public to be kind of going through there. The building's not in the greatest condition in there, so so there won't be any tours. So if you're kind of hoping for that, there won't be one.
You're out of luck.
Yes, you'll be kind of out of luck on that, right? However, I am asking our town administrator if we can get in just to do I'll do a little video walkthrough, so at least you can watch that, so you can kind of see what the state of the building is now, and you can also kind of reminisce about like, oh, there was my classroom, and the paintings on the wall, if you did that, if you had any part in that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool in there, though. It's like it's sort of creepy,
Yeah,
and
I'm sure.
and yet
just because it hasn't been gone, like people haven't gone in it
right,
in so
yeah.
long. It's
Nobody's
just,
been
like,
in there
so
since, I forget what date they closed it,
Yeah.
like 2002 or something like that. But yeah, like the paint is all peeling and chipping.
just kind
and
of creepy.
it's got that kind of, and it's dark, and there's murals of like Disney characters up and down the main corridor.
That's wicked cool, though.
It's really cool, but then it's like eerie. You know what I mean? It's got that sort of eerie feel to it. It's neat. It's really kind of cool.
A shell of what it once was.
Yes.
A visual metaphor.
Yeah. You can almost like still hear kids in the hallways and like the ring of the bell and stuff. It's kind of cool. It's a neat little spot. And then they have the bathrooms downstairs. Is really creepy, right? So the bathrooms downstairs
want to go down there.
are super short. Like it's low because it's in a basement.
Right.
And all the little stalls. Like I remember this from when I was a little kid in elementary school. Like the stalls were all really low because you're a little short kid. They were meant for the kids, And the stalls are like these little tiny things. Like you can stand up in them and you're like up to, this much of you is exposed over the top of the thing. It's working funny. It's pretty cool. So anyway, we'll be trying to do a little walkthrough at least, so you can take a look at that and see what it looks like now. So that should be kind of fun. Hey John, by the way, how you doing? How's everybody doing out there? Thanks John, I appreciate that. So I got two Johns, John Sloan and John McDonough.
Two Johns.
Watch it.
Hey.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Feel free to chime in if you have any questions about the stuff we're talking about, and anything you want to talk about, let us know too. We got some interesting topics to discuss in a little bit, some kind of yeah, some kind of interesting stuff going on in town and outside. So just quickly, I want to get through a couple of other news things about Tyngsborough. So the Board of Health had a really great health fair this past weekend. It was awesome, actually. You guys were there as well with me. We took a bunch of pictures, and you probably saw a bunch of the videos floating around Facebook and stuff too. We did a bunch of really fun interviews. Great turnout. They will be doing it again next year, obviously. So if you didn't get to make it this year, definitely check for the dates when they release those for next year for the health fair. But yeah, it was a really nice turnout. Lots of really interesting stuff. I learned quite a few interesting things.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, what was one of your guys' favorite vendors there? Let's say one of your favorite people.
Well, I personally really liked like the canine demonstration. I know that wasn't like a vendor, but I thought that was like super awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
The dog was also staring at me like he wanted to attack me.
He wanted to eat you. He really wanted to. He thought you were the bad guy.
I know. I was just like innocently standing behind taking pictures, and it looked like he wanted to like bite my face off.
Well, because like the officer had said, Officer Ryder, I think it is. He said that he was protecting him because Officer Ryder can't see behind him.
Oh my
so
God, how
the dog
scary
was
would
watching
that be?
you. Yager, his name is the dog. He was watching
that
you.
Dog was
thinking
awesome though.
He was cool. Yeah,
Super cool.
Very, very smart.
Yeah.
Very cool dog. Yeah, that was cool. I liked Jimja was neat. The Jimja Warriors.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Though I wasn't as impressed as I expected to be with that. Like I thought, I don't know. I just for some reason in my head I saw it being a little bit.
I'm sure like they're
better. I don't know what
like machetes involved. And
something,
stuff too.
fire and like you know what I mean. Something going on.
I'm sure they're set up like where they are. I don't know where they're located again. I kind of forget where
I think
they
like
said.
Woburn and
I forget where
the other
they
one.
said they were located, but I'm sure their setup there is like wicked sick.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably so cool.
There's a video on YouTube that you can watch, and they've got a crazy gym with like the mats on the floors and
that would
all
tire
kinds
me
of things
out,
you can jump on, and
that would tire me out way too much.
Yeah, I was about to say, like I have yet to flip over like more than 3 kids in my lifetime.
Right.
So I'll be like, all right, word.
I was expecting him to be like, let's line up like 20 kids or like bring in a bus or something. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
And do backflips over that. That would be
I know
funny.
when he was like, he was like, if you want to take a video, like I could do a front flip over you. You're like, no, I don't want to be kicked in the face. He's like, this is my profession. I gotta do this.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm like, okay, I'll take a video from back here. It's cool. Yeah, all good. You jump over the tiger. That'll be more interesting, I think. Yeah, that was pretty cool. They were cool. The what else was going on? So we had obviously the fire department there. They had the touch a truck, so you could go out and touch the trucks and climb on them and do all that fun stuff. So that's always a cool thing. I never got to go see it, but Michael Ryan Roach from the Board of Health had like an EKG machine there. He works for LGH, I believe it is. Neither did I. I kept meaning to go over there, and I never actually got there.
So cool.
People were like dragging me in all these different directions, so I didn't get to go see some of the things I wanted to. But he had like an EKG machine, which from what he described sounded really neat. So that might be something to look for next year. But they were actually
cool.
Like without having to go to the doctor, you could find out if you had like a heart arrhythmia or something like that. So that was kind of a cool
That's
thing.
cool. I didn't even see that there.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Beth Craig, obviously she's running in the marathon Monday.
She was zooming around in
Circles.
circles.
She had her blade trike. That thing's pretty neat. And she let me push it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't actually as winded as I made it out to be in the video, by the way. I'm not in that bad of shape. Maybe a little bit, but not that bad. But that thing was pretty cool, though. So that, and we get to show that off, like all the sort of the specs of it, looking at the different pieces of it and stuff like that. That was kind of cool. Components.
Steve, I would have thought that your favorite booth would have been the massage chair.
Oh yeah, I didn't even get to that. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good point. I forgot about the massage chair.
I should have gotten one.
That was the first thing we did, right? Yeah. Remember?
Yeah.
Because she was like, I don't want to have my picture taken, or at least not without somebody in the chair. And I'm like,
Yep.
I know. I thought you were just.
Sign me up.
It was so funny. I thought you were just sitting in it to like get a picture. So like we took the picture and then like you were gonna get up and be like walk away.
Oh no, I was
and
melting
then
into
you were
the
there
chair.
For like 10 minutes.
No, I literally was melting into the chair. I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting up for the next half hour.
Steve, you don't have to pose anymore.
My parents walked in and I was like, oh, like you give me my boss and stuff, and I was like, oh, he's actually right there. And you're like face down.
And she was good too. She gave a good massage, so I was happy. Made my neck feel better. And actually, one of the cool things I learned from her, and I mean, I've been trying to research this anyway, so sort of had an idea, but we were going over like neck issues from cell phone use, and even just in general, your body posture.
I have horrible posture.
Me too. Like I'm not good about it, and so like with cell phone uses, we tend to like lean forward. Your jaw comes out. The further out your jaw is over your center line, the more weight that your head actually has on your neck, because it's now not being supported straight up and down as opposed to you're out, and so it's putting more weight.
Right.
Increases the weight. Interesting though.
Sure. I'm thinking about it now, actually.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it
I
makes you kind of
slouch.
like you do kind of these. You know, you,
Yeah,
you
I'm like, "Ooh,
adjust and like,
crap."
oh, I gotta do this, and then you start cracking. Like things start cracking and snapping
You're
in
like,
there.
oh man.
But yeah, that was kind of cool though. I enjoyed that. That was nice, and she was kind of going up and down my neck and rubbing it, and,
Yeah.
and then down up and down your back and stuff like that. But yeah, I enjoyed that part. That was fun. How about you, Ray Sam? What was your favorite?
Man, I would have to say, if anything, my favorite part or my favorite souvenir was like a little recycling bin thing. Oh, well,
Yep,
we
right
have
over there.
one. We have one on deck.
So cute.
I got
It's
the
awesome.
trash barrel and the little the angry squeeze truck ball thing,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it.
Imagine
Squeezy
if you
guy.
like
Little
just
stuff.
actually put that out instead of like your huge recycling
Yeah.
one on the side of the road.
You try to wheel this out. Here you go. Let's see things. This is your challenge. If you can fit all of your week's trash into this little guy, and you got to wheel this thing up.
Have you
out
seen?
into the street.
Have you seen the videos where people like are like no waste and they have like the tiniest amount of waste for like 1 year and it's like literally like just like
That's amazing.
Tiny
People that can do
jar.
that, like that's really one of my goals. If I could limit my
That's
trash that
crazy.
much.
it's awesome.
Yeah. The funny thing is though, so we used to, before my wife and I had kids, we'd put out one bag, maybe two in a week into the trash bin, and they were just the smaller, whatever size, 30-gallon, I think, white
Right.
bags,
Yeah.
white trash bags. And now, as soon as we had kids, you got diapers and all the other like stuff. Man, it's impossible. I don't know how you could reduce to that point.
Yeah.
You know,
The
on your trash scale.
Videos are crazy. Like people will just bring like recycling, like when they go to the grocery store, they'll just fill up their like glass jars and stuff. It's so cool how they do that.
Yeah, that's pretty surprising. That
But by any chance, on the extreme end of waste management, have you heard of freeganism?
No.
freaking it. No, what's this?
It's essentially the.
Do you have this on the website? Which,
I do. I have
page?
like a
Let's bring it up.
little ukulele, Wikipedia.
Ukulele.
I don't. We're just talking about.
We were talking about
ukuleles
that
earlier.
earlier.
Freeganism, huh? So
Freeganism.
what does it mean?
It is essentially the practice and ideology of limited participation in the conventional economy of minimal consumption and resources.
Okay.
Essentially, it means that you eat free food from the trash.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
disgusting.
You know what I've
Essentially,
actually been
that's it.
watching lately?
I
that
have
made
heard of this. Yes.
I've been
Okay. I didn't realize that
watching-
was the name of it.
on what is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
There's like extreme cheapskates videos and
Yeah.
stuff, so I watch those because they're like interesting. And people will just like, oh, it's crazy. I would never be able to. Like,
Yeah, no. So we are not by any means advocating for anybody
Oh,
to
yeah.
eat from the trash. Please don't do that.
Unless
That's
any
not
of
a
our
good idea.
viewers are raccoons.
Right.
Oh my god.
And they're already a part of the lifestyle.
It was crazy. These people were
That's a
like,
good point. All right.
these people
You're a
were like
raccoon.
well off too. They were like, it's not that we don't have the money. Like
Yeah.
they had like a nice house. They were like, it's not that we don't have the money to like buy food. It's just why buy food when you can.
But why?
And so there's like videos of these
seriously.
people like
I
taking
mean, really?
like trash out of like a dumpster dive and stuff.
I mean, I'm all for like being frugal and conserving and stuff
Oh.
like that. But I mean, there's a
Ooh.
limit.
I watched
Big
a
time. I
good
mean, that's
Oh,
a
yeah,
hard,
no, it
a
is.
hard
Yeah.
pass right there for me.
I
know?
watched
It's
an
the
interesting one yesterday. The one I watched yesterday was they went in the car and they would find roadkill and
Yeah.
pick up the roadkill.
I have heard of this also.
And
yes.
they would
yeah,
they would cook
okay.
it and then they would use the fur to like make purses and stuff.
Okay. And
Wow.
they ate the meat too and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Okay, yeah, it's right. Complete
They'd have
use of
guests
the.
over and be like, "This is our rabbit."
I'm telling you right now, there's some messed up people in this world. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, that's weirard. That's a
Yeah,
little
I mean,
weird.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's very weird.
If I go to your house and you try to serve me roadkill, I mean, unless it's like a deer that was struck by, whatever. That's one
Even then
thing.
though that's like
Well, I'm not talking about something that's been. I'm talking about a fresh hit deer, which has
Okay,
happened. Like the
yeah.
highway guys have done that. We've
Yeah.
actually made chili out of it. It was fantastic.
Oh wow.
But like
yeah.
one
So
that
that's
has
legit. But
flies all over it.
no.
and, like,
Yeah, that's
nasty.
Nope. Hard
Yeah.
pass. No thanks. Good.
You
Not
know,
happening.
Honestly, I really feel like if one were to open up a restaurant, it's just like, would you like your meat well done or well treaded?
So gross.
They lay it on the table and it's still
So
got the
gross.
tire mark over the top.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brutal.
The family like
Brutal.
went and looked at the roadkill and the little girl was like, "The rabbit's cute." And like
Oh
they
my
were
God.
so gross. I was like nasty.
Oh, I mean, I'll say this much at least: if you're studying roadkill, at least you do learn probably a lot about the anatomy of the creature
Yeah.
because it's like
Yeah, they
everywhere.
said they used every part of the rabbit. I
Yeah.
was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, I mean, you can
Every
eat most
part.
of it.
It's just gotten.
I don't know. Yeah, that might be.
Heebie-jeebies.
That's a tad extreme, the freaganism thing. I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
That's interesting though. I've
You-
never heard of
you,
that.
You do you. It's a free country. You do what makes you happy. If that makes you happy, rock on. But
on.
not interested.
Not for
myself.
me.
I will pass. Thanks much. Okay, that was a tangent. Wow.
I I think, like,
Where did we go?
we could probably like bring it back with the
Yeah, let's roll it back.
Trash and recycling.
Let's roll it back to the Board of Health for a
Wasn't
second.
even
So we were
related.
talking about the Health and Safety Fair. If you're interested, check it out next year. It's going to be a great event again, I'm sure. It was pretty fun. Also from the Board of Health quickly is the yard waste pickup, curbside yard waste pickup, which is happening. John says it's almost lunchtime. He's mad that we're talking about this. Sorry, John. Apologies on that. Yard waste pickup, May 10th and May 24th. Those are coming up very quickly, so mark your calendars. That's when you can get rid of all of that extra yard waste from all of the dozens of storms that have rolled through here and knocked down trees and branches and all that fun stuff, and your regular stuff too, like grass clippings and all that. So May 10 and 24 are the dates for those. Household hazardous waste day, June 1st. And I don't have the website up. Shoot, so I'm gonna do the. Oh no, I'm not doing the news on Monday because it's a holiday. I'll do the news on Tuesday, and I'll show you the recycling page that is now official that we can use for, or you can use for your recycling information. So what cannot be, and how to recycle all of the different things that you come across in your daily lives. So I'll show you that and go over that website on Tuesday. And like I said, I've actually been telling you this for a while now, but I'm going to do a special show with Donna from the health department. She's going to love that I'm throwing her out like this. Donna from the health department is going to come on, and we're going to talk about all different kinds of recycling information, as well as go through a bag of actual recycles and like what, basically like either trash or not trash recycle. The items that can be and cannot be. So we'll go through that whole thing, and that's coming up soon in the next week or so, hopefully, now that the dust has settled from the health and safety fair. Also, from the recreation department, the Memorial Day is obviously coming up. The Memorial Day parade is coming up too. The three of us will be out there, provided you guys are available. I'm telling you now, anyways.
I never had a plan, so.
Yeah, right. So
Let's pull up the calendar.
the Memorial Day parade, we'll be out there taking pictures, but the bike and wagon decorating contest is going to be happening for the Memorial Day parade. So check that out on the TyngsboroughRec.com website, and you can also start using the beach at that point. So if you're a Tyngsborough resident and you have your, beach pass that you've gotten from the administrator's office for free, by the way. All you have to do is come in and just request one. You can start using the beach after Memorial Day, so that'll be pretty cool. They're getting it ready. They've been kind of grooming it and stuff like that.
Can't wait till it's like nice enough to like just lay on a beach.
I know, seriously.
I really can't wait for that.
Will it ever actually be warm though? Is the question. I mean,
Tomorrow
seriously.
apparently, but it's gonna be raining, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, right. So that's not going to be a good beach
Yeah.
day, but. Those things are that's coming up, and then I won't speak on the fields because I'm not sure if that's still closed, so we'll leave that for now. They're also looking for committee members for the for the recreation department. So if you're interested in giving back to the community, that's an awesome way to. What a great group to actually get to be on a committee for. The recreation department's like clearly the most fun department probably in the whole town. At least
Hey, what about us?
I mean, well, okay. Us aside, you're right. Good point. Us aside, we're probably the most fun, but yeah, the recreation committee
Parks
also.
and Rec.
Yeah, right. Parks. I feel like it's like a competition. We're about even there with the funness. Field Day by Five's coming up. That's in July and August, and then the block party on August 25th. That was an awesome time. If you guys remember that from last year, phenomenal time. Everybody had a good time at that thing. Tons of food. An absolute boatload of people showed up for that. I still can't believe. Oh my God,
there was so many people.
It was amazing. It was unbelievable. I had one picture that I got from the top of I think it was Engine 3. They parked down at the end.
It was like crazy.
And it was just heads. All you could see was heads. There was no pavement visible.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable. It was down the whole stretch of Winslow Road, so it was cool. So that's going to be awesome again, coming up on the 25th. Also, elections are coming up on the 14th of May, so don't forget that. I have a list of the people. I have a list of the people who are actually on the ballot. So you've got for Selectman Ray Rowe, Assessor Jen Wilson, Board of Health Michelle Riley, also on the Board of Health Michael Ryan Roach, who's replacing somebody who left early. Nobody on the Cemetery Commission, so if anybody wants to get on a seat, you can do a write-in campaign, maybe get a Cemetery Commission gig. I hear people are dying to get into that one. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm kidding. Finance Committee, you got Billy Crawford and Chris Mellon. Library Trustees, Julie Iatron and Michael Barton. Housing Authority, Jean Pelletier. Planning Board, David Robson. School Committee, I didn't mean it in a bad way. It was, it was a joke.
Funny,
School Committee, Julie Gastucci and Rebecca Stanton. Sewer Commission, Brian Martin. And also Sewer Commission, Daryl Wickens, which I believe that's also somebody who left early. So that's a fill-in on that one of those seats. So there's your candidates for election, May 14 and May 21st, I think it was. Double check the calendar. May 21st is the regular town meeting springtime meeting. So yeah, come out, vote. You get to listen to all the issues, hear what's going on in town. Obviously, you probably want to have some information ahead of time. Yeah, Tyngsborough Town Meeting. There it is. 21st of May. Just want to double check that. Yeah. So see what the issues are. Once the warrant has been posted, we'll obviously share it out, and we'll do a program and discuss it with the town administrator, so we can kind of go over all the items that are on there. There's quite a few interesting things coming up. One of them obviously is the golf course, but there's some other stuff that's going on that I'm sure you'll want to come on and talk about, or vote your opinion on. Also, let's see, where do we leave off? The trails have all, well, not all the trails, but Sherburne and Shady Glade have all been remarked. And Long Pond is not far behind. So if you're an avid walker, hiker, outdoorsy person, you can go check out those three. They've all been remarked. We have other trails, obviously, here in town, Bell across the street, and the other one's escaping me off the top of my head right now. Hunter property, yes, Hunter. And so, yeah, so they're all available, but those three have been remarked, at least Shady Glade, Sherburne, and Long Pond is just about remarked, I think. Tyngsborough Theatre Department has their newest play coming out, Les Miserables. It is on May 4, 5, 10, and 11. The show times vary, but you can check their website. You can go to fottheater.org, I think it is. Yeah, fottheater.org, and grab the information for that play. But they have, I'm telling you right now, if you guys have not been
they're
to
phenomenal.
They're really good.
They're
really impressive for high school kids. Like, you don't expect this walking in.
Super impressive.
Very impressive. They sing like it's unbelievable.
They put a
ton
of work into it.
They really do.
Though.
They put a ton of work, and you can tell there's a lot of love and care that goes into these things.
For
you know.
Sure.
It's amazing, really. Check them out. You can donate to the theater group. The ticket sales obviously help as well. It just helps with their future productions. We're actually helping them with a number of technical aspects, as far as some audio equipment and some other stuff for backstage stuff. But yeah, really, really phenomenal group. Amazing plays. I mean, these guys, I can't
they're so appreciative
tout them
too.
enough. They are. They're very appreciative. We had a girl come up to us at the health fair.
nice.
She was like, "Oh, I just want to say thank you, for all the help." And it, like,
Yeah,
it's cool. It's
nice.
It is really nice. A great community group. Obviously, it's the high school kids. You're supporting these high school kids. Show them a little love. Give them some attention, and let them know that you guys are being supportive of them by going out and checking out their play. Again, May 4, 5, 10, and 11 is Les Miserables. So it's gonna be cool. And then I'm sure they'll have some other great plays coming up later in the year. Also, there's a new. I don't have the website. Again, I'm gonna do this on Tuesday on the news. I'll show you guys the actual stuff. But Map Geo. So the town has a new part of the website where you can actually go and look at all of the different information regarding properties over a number of layers. You can look at like flood information. I wanted to say sewer overlays. You can look at property lines, all different kinds of stuff. There's a whole bunch of different really interesting factoids you can pull out of that. Who owns what property, a butters list, make a butters list off of it, things like that. There's all kinds of really interesting info. That's on MapGeo. And again, I'm gonna try to find it for today and post it in the description. But if I don't, I'll at least go over it on Tuesday, so you guys can check it out. That's a really cool one, especially if you're somebody who's interested in, say, buying a house or whatever. I used it when we were going to buy my house. I was constantly on the various towns' GIS systems, looking at look at the property itself, like how does it lay, where's the house in relation to the property lines, and who owns around you, and if there is anything around you, what's conservation land. That's another layer on there you can look at. Conservation lands, parks, properties, those kind of things. There's a lot of really cool stuff on there, a lot of good information. So I'll go over that on Tuesday, and if I can find it, I'm going to put the link up in the description for today. But definitely something worth checking out if you're a resident, or if you're trying to do some construction on your property, or if you're thinking about locating yourself in the town of Tyngsborough. It's a nice way to kind of figure out what's around you, or what would be around your potential the house you're looking at buying, maybe. So that's pretty cool. What else do we want to hit before we move on from the news? I think we got everything. Yeah, it looks like we've kind of hit just about everything. I'm trying to just let me go over my list here, just make sure I didn't miss any.
The photo contest?
Yeah, that's the secondary thing. No, that's pretty much it. All right, so that's good. I just want to make sure we hit all the news stuff. I didn't do news on Monday, by the way. I apologize. I was absolutely just jammed busy from cleaning up from the weekend, from the health fair with all my stuff, and then putting everything back together. And then we've had so many shoots. How many things? I'm gonna go over this list. We've had so many things that we photographed. Just in the last 2 weeks. The library had their spring tea. There was the fire department did a little demo over at Tyngsborough Middle School with the Save a Life tour over at the high school. the health and safety fair happened, right? The Donate Life event that happened over at the fire department, the Best Friends ribbon cutting, and then the Tyngsborough Police Department, they got some gifts given to them as candy, bunches of candy given to them, which was really cute, by the way, by the kids from the elementary school. They put together all these little gift bags for every officer on the department and gave them to them.
Little signs.
Yeah, the little signs.
cute.
So it was very cute.
Yeah.
So we'll be posting the photos. Actually, the TPD, the one we're talking about now, that actually was posted already, so you can check that out on Facebook and on Twitter. The rest of these, the fire department at TMS, that's already posted, and the other ones I'll be posting in the next
Edited
week.
by yours truly.
Yep. Kaylee edited them for us. Yep. But we'll be posting them next week, so you can check out those photos. But yeah, there was a ton of things that I've been literally running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get to all these
There's been
events.
a lot.
And
Yeah,
there has been.
Sure.
And then we've had, of course, the regular meetings that have been going on. We had a big ZBA meeting last night, which was rather contentious, apparently. But that was an interesting one. So
there's been a lot of stuff.
There's a real lot of stuff. So so if you're interested in all the different town things, that there's been quite a bit happening. Actually, Rayson, really quick, do me a favor, just pull up the tyngsboroughma.gov website on a new tab, and let's just show the town calendar. So go to the town calendar when you go to the website, and just so we can show next week's stuff, just so you can kind of keep up with what's going on. By the way, if you are interested in following what's going on in your town, which I hope you guys are, you live in town, so have some interest in what's happening at least. You can always go to our website. All of the town meetings, the various different town meetings that happen, are all listed right on the white page. So if you, the right of the page rather, there you go. So I'm going to pop that up. There you go. So you can get all the information for what's going on coming up on this calendar as far as regular meetings. And you can, on the bottom there, on the bottom right corner where the little Google Calendar plus symbol is, if you click that and you have a Gmail account already, that will actually add this calendar to your Gmail calendar, which you can then toggle on and off as needed right in your own calendar, so you don't always have to go to the town website. But it just makes it easy for you to follow along with what's going on should you be interested in doing that. So very cool stuff. All right. Back to interesting things now. No, I'm kidding. This was all interesting stuff. We're having fun, guys, by the way. We're just goofing off. Let's see. All right. So let's talk about Rayson. You had kind of some interesting stories. First, let's talk about the measles issue that's been going on in New York, because apparently this is like kind of blowing up a little bit more.
Oh yeah, I feel like I see it on the news all the time.
Yeah, it's been on a lot. The last time I saw it, I don't know about you guys out there watching, but the last time I had saw it, it was like 140 cases, and now we're up to what, Ray Sam?
We are now up to 285 confirmed cases of measles in Brooklyn and Queens since October.
So that's bad.
Oh, yeah.
That's very bad.
I think any case of measles.
Right. I mean, even one case is bad.
Right.
Yeah, this is bad. It makes me wonder: is it anti-vax people, or is it something else? Is there more to it than just anti-vax? Does it say in the article?
I don't know. I mean, the whole anti-vax thing is like a whole revolution. Right?
It really is kind of, and I get it. I get people are afraid of like injecting their kids with stuff, and we had this when I had my first daughter. We had the same kind of thought process going on, like, is it safe? Is it not safe? Is it gonna, we don't want it to hurt our kids or whatever. And my doctor, I remember when I brought this up to my doctor, she started to give me the look like, oh, here we go. Like he's gonna be an anti-vax person. And I was like, no, I'm not anti-vax at all. Here's what I was saying was, I don't want them getting 3, 4, and 5 shots in a visit. So I made them space everything out 1 to 2 weeks per shot, one at a time. Wait a week or two, another shot, so on and so forth.
Also,
except for the flu
getting them
shot.
all at once hurts so bad.
Well, it hurts like crazy. Yes, I didn't want that happening also, but because again, I'm not anti-vax at all, but I didn't want them getting all of those vaccinations dumped into them, because you don't know how they're going to intermingle with each other. You never know what kind of weird cross stuff, because the vaccinations work. Clearly, we've been using them since the turn of the century, so they work. Definitely. But at the same time, I was nervous that too much of it would overload their babies. I mean, they're not, my kid was just a couple months old and they wanted to inject her with like 3 shots in a row. I'm like, no. Like, let's space this out. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know what that's going to do. Her systems wasn't developed yet for anything like that. Like, if you gave it to me, it'd be one thing. My system's kind of developed and knows what, well, maybe, I don't know about up here, but, but you know what I mean? Like, your system can handle that. We can handle some pretty decent,
but they're not
medical issues, but
yeah.
but then they're not there yet. So let's not do that. That was my take, anyways.
Yeah. In the article itself, it does say that the initial child was unvaccinated and acquired the measles on a visit to Israel, where there was a large break of the disease was occurring.
Oh, really?
It also says here that most of the cases have been involved with members of the Orthodox Jewish community.
So are they not? Do they not vaccinate?
I'm not really.
I don't really know much about the Orthodox Jewish community.
Yeah, because again, like within like certain religions, there's like different practices when it comes to medication and like
correct,
other medical practices like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as familiar with it. However, it does go back to like when you travel out of the country at any point, you should make sure to get like certain like shots in mind. Yeah. Exactly, like typhoid is a big one. Malaria is a big one. However, you don't often think like measles, because over in the United States, like there are higher vaccination rates for that. You know,
so that's, I mean, and that's a given. Any foreign country you go to, like anywhere in Africa, basically anywhere in
anywhere, really.
Pretty much. You're right. You go to India, they're going to want to give you some, you know, some shots and stuff like that to make sure you're not getting whatever. Even just going to Mexico, like they tell you don't drink the water. You know what I mean? Like,
no. Because again,
Montezuma's revenge. You know,
just different things are in the water like everywhere. Even if you go down to Europe, it's different. And like a bunch of other things too, just like within like the food and the way that they cook their meats and all of those things, whether that's like cultural, traditional, or anything else like that. We, again, depending on how old you are, like our system wasn't built for that. You know, we're getting like the injections that are meant for problems that we usually get into like America. You know what I mean? So
I just did a quick Google search. I was trying to find out, you know, I basically Googled, do Orthodox Jews vaccinate? And so somebody, this is a New York Times article, but it says, it's from 3 days ago. It says monkey, rat, and pig DNA, how misinformation is driving the something, probably driving not to not want to get vaccinated. Driving the measles outbreak, right, among ultra-Orthodox Jews. Now, they say specifically ultra-Orthodox Jews because there's different levels of, you know, of that much I do know. So that's interesting. Maybe that's got something to do with it. And it sounds like it's just misinformation as to what's in the vaccination. But again, we don't know necessarily what's in the vaccination. There's all kinds of chemicals and stuff in there. But again, we do know they work. So there's that. So take that with a grain of salt. But so it said, I was just reading this other article. It was kind of a response back. It says, what makes your question even more complex is the fact that the term vaccination is very broad. I won't read this whole thing for you guys, but more or less they say guarding your own health doesn't only make sense, it's actually a mitzvah. So according to a mitzvah in Jewish is it's a commandment, something that you're supposed to do. So they're obviously potentially guarding their own health by getting the vaccination. It's something that they're supposed to do. So that's what it seems like. But maybe it's, you know, maybe it's the misinformation part of it, you know, that's causing the outbreak. I didn't realize that it was mostly in the Orthodox community that the measles outbreak was.
Says here.
Interesting. Who's the article from?
NYC Gov.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's from all right. So it's probably from their Board of Health, New York City Board of Health, right? Okay. Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really, you know, really troubling. It makes me, like I said, when I had kids, my first daughter and then my son a year and change ago now, I was nervous. I mean, you think about this stuff and you're like, you hear, I have a few friends, a few good friends who have had, their kids are autistic. And they have correlated, at least in their minds anyways, that it had something to do with the vaccinations because they noticed the change. One of my friends specifically has, and he's in the medical field, has actually said like he thinks that that's actually what caused it because his son, he saw a flip within a couple of days from when his son was vaccinated to when his son started showing these signs of autism.
Really?
And now his son is full blown autistic. I mean, he's definitely autistic.
I remember like hearing that study was like not as highly regarded within like the medical community. And
so,
again, it
and so that's the problem. And the studies, you're right. The studies, you don't know how well they were done, if they were done correctly or whatever. The controls might not have been right.
Yeah.
But this was his own experience. And I have another friend too. Actually, I forgot about him. That had a similar experience. And so that's what makes us think. That's what made me think and made me scared. Wow. He was my next door neighbor, so I talked to him quite a bit. And it just like, it makes you concerned. Like, I don't know if I want my kids to get vaccinated, but then you're like, they need the vaccinations because you have measles outbreaks or like, you know, polio comes back or like something crazy.
I feel like the way that you said it, like spacing them out, I feel like that's like the way that makes the most sense.
To me, that's what made sense too. I mean, it was the only happy middle ground I could think of in my head. Like, I want my kids vaccinated, but I don't want them getting over vaccinated in one sitting.
Yeah,
you know?
You can't just leave it up to the essential oils.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. You know, to me, you think about it this way, or I thought about it this way. It's like, you know, if you like to drink a shot of whiskey from time to time, right? You take one shot, you're good to go. You drink the whole bottle, you're going to be on the floor. You know what I mean? So like same thing with vaccinations. You take one, you're good to go. You know, get too many of them, and you're gonna might have. I mean, maybe I'm not going to say you do, but I think anyways, you might have some trouble. That might be where the weird things start happening. But I don't know. That was my own personal thing. But I don't know.
Very interesting.
When you guys have kids, you'll
Yeah.
you'll get to that thought process. Your mind just like does this weird backflip, and it's like suddenly you're in this different mode when you have on the line.
So it's like the most like general population could do, just like look up on like a WebMD and be like,
oh man,
no, that's and even that, it's just like, oh well, count your days.
I gotta say, I've been not the greatest about that either, because
my gosh,
the first thing you do is go to WebMD or whatever
I
doctor
Google
website.
everything, and then it's like, oh, you're dying. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, one of the things is always you may be dying, and
Yeah.
in the Google search, like, dang it, I'm gonna die. I just have the runny nose. I'm not like
I know. I'm like, oh, my throat kind of hurts.
Yeah.
It's like,
No, it's just a scratchy nose or a scratchy throat rather, or something. You know, like.
Nah, get that will together now. You know?
Yeah, seriously, right? Yeah. Right next to the thing, there's like literally you could download last will and testament to fill out.
WebMD MD, whatever, always freaks me out whenever I look up stuff.
My doctor must think I'm nuts because like, I mean, I'm not. I try not to be bad about it. I don't Google everything, but I did it first. But when it's your first kid, you're like, oh, what's going on?
Right,
You know, the jazz fingers start going, and you're like,
Using
Google like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's funny though, because you really do. You get very, very protective. I mean, obviously it's your kid. You don't want your kid to have an issue. But yeah, you definitely get very protective. It's funny. Oh, WebMD, my poor doctor. I'm sorry, Dr. Galvin. I apologize. Yeah. She thought I was crazy because I made my own baby formula for both my kids actually, and she I told her that I was doing this, and she kind of looked at me. She was like she gave me. You ever see that Facebook meme with the little baby that does that funny scrunchy face? That's kind of the face she gave me, and she was like, say that again, and I'm like, yeah. So I'm making my own baby formula. I told her what was in it, and she was like, oh, okay. It was legit. It was good. It was a recipe I'd found on Google.
It was legit. So
right. But it was funny because it was like an old the recipe I used. I pieced it together from what my wife's grandmother had told me about that she used to feed her kids, because back then they didn't have, in the 50s, they didn't have Similac and Infamil and all these things. You made your own formula, and she told me what she put in hers, and so I did some Googling and thought it was interesting, and ended up making my kids' formula. And it was way cheaper, I'll tell you that right now. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Sure.
It saved a lot of money, and it was perfect. Like, it was amazing formula. They loved it. Both kids had no problems with it whatsoever, and are happy and healthy and good to go. So I'm not necessarily advocating this, but if you want to save some money, it's definitely a good way to go. If you're kind of cheap like me sometimes.
Little Steve's formula cookbook.
Yeah, right.
Not an extreme cheapskate.
No,
but
no, and I did it. I wasn't doing it to be cheap. I was doing it because I was more concerned with the health.
Yeah.
There was that
save money where you can.
Right, save money where you can. And there was that story that I had read. This was years ago now, but it was out of China, and there was a guy at a baby formula factory, and they had been adding in a chemical. You ever have melamine?
No.
So melamine's a plastic. They make plates out of it and all kinds of stuff.
And that's in their formula?
And so this guy was cutting the baby formula. This Chinese guy who was running this factory was cutting the baby formula with this melamine, and it ended up killing like hundreds of babies. Like, it killed a whole bunch. You can Google this. It was online. So it killed a whole bunch of babies. They executed him, and it was bad. It was a real bad scene.
When was this?
I don't remember how long ago it was, but if you Google it, I'm sure you could pull up the time.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I had read that. That was still in the back of my mind, and that was kind of what pushed me on the baby formula thing, because I'm like, I don't know what's in this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like vaccines, you don't know what's in this stuff. But you need it. You got to feed your kid.
Yeah.
So you got to do something.
Yeah.
And that was just, I don't know, that was the way I went with it.
I feel like the theme that this all comes back to is know what you're putting in your body.
Yes, right, exactly. Garbage in, garbage out is definitely a thing, especially these days. You just don't know. You know what I mean? You can read labels till you're blue in the face, or you're cross-eyed. But what is monoglutamate, distillated, whatever? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what these things mean. Like, what is that? Or what was the big one a year and a half ago, with the cellulose that they were putting in Parmesan cheese as an anti-caking agent.
Oh, well,
so you know what cellulose is, right?
I mean, I've heard of it.
All right, so cellulose is a wood product. It was basically wood shavings, more or less.
Wow.
You know, and
They were putting that in cheese.
they still do. If you look at on the label of Parmesan cheese, one of the ingredients is cellulose.
Yeah,
and it
I've seen
just
that
as like
before.
anti-caking agent.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps it from getting all mashed up and turning into one massive cheese again, like Parmesan would be.
Yeah.
It keeps it fluffy, I guess. So you can shake it, and you put it in the bottle and you shake it out, whatever. But yeah, so that's one of the ingredients in it. It's not bad for you. It's
Just kinda
cellulose. It's a
weird.
natural ingredient.
Yeah.
But people are freaking out
Just
about it.
kinda
They're like, oh my God, they're putting trees into the thing.
Trees.
like sawdust or whatever was the big
It's
thing.
like, nah.
John says I was 6 years old before I realized Purina didn't make baby food. John, that's horrible.
Oh
John apparently liked his Purina.
Oh my God.
Was it good, meow?
With the puns today.
Yeah, right. Oh man, that's hilarious. Oh, poor John. Yeah,
Jeez.
Purina does not make baby food. I won't tell the story. Forget it. I was going to tell you a funny story about how I ate
God.
dog food one time, but I won't do that.
Ooh.
I was really little and I didn't know what I was doing. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
It was a bad day. It was a
It
bad.
was a bad day.
not one of my finer days when I was like 3 or 4, but I don't know what you're doing at that point. So hey, whatever.
My mom told me that when I was younger, she put me in like the carriage at Petco, and I would eat like the dog treats when she was like, yeah, she told me that story.
John says he's okay now. Well, I'm glad you're okay. Did you go Whiskers though? That's what I want to know. Did you end up with Whiskers? So
Right.
to the cookie thing, right? And the dog treats in the store,
Yeah.
the pet store, right? So you guys ever go to Petco? Have you been
Yeah.
to Petco? Okay. So you know how they have the cookie bar, dog treat
Yes.
cookie bar
Yeah.
thing?
That's
All
what
right.
I would pick them out when I
Yes.
was younger.
So there are legitimately a cookie in there that is a human cookie. I'm not even
Really?
kidding you.
Oh.
It's the sandwich cookie with the cream inside. I have eaten them. They taste fantastic.
Right.
It
wow.
tastes
and
just
they
like a
just
cream
sell
filled.
them there for humans.
Well, no, they sell them for dogs. It's got like
Oh.
it's
Yeah.
made with the cookie itself. I think is made with carob, which is another it's something safe for dogs. And the cream was like it tasted just like the cream from like the sandwich cookies you get in the supermarket. I would legit
That's
ate
so funny.
probably 3 or 4 of them because I remember looking at it going, wow, that looks like a regular cookie. And then I
Yeah.
picked one up, I smelled it, and I'm like, smells
Smells
like a
good.
regular sandwich cookie. Like,
Suspicious.
You're
So-
like, you know what? All of a sudden, Shaggy from Scooby Doo doesn't seem like such a weirdo.
Scooby snacks.
Scooby
I mean,
snacks are
right?
Do you remember when they used to sell those?
Yeah.
I don't know if they still sell them
Scooby snacks?
actually. Yeah, those were wicked good.
Were
like
they?
The
I never had
cinnamon,
those.
The
Those were
cinnamon
nice.
ones.
Oh,
Those
okay.
were really good.
I never
would've-
tried them.
I would have loved if like they were like you could also give these to your dog if you want. And I'm like, yo.
I wonder if they still sell those. Those were really good.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I bought a couple of those, and I didn't tell my wife that I bought them for me. I put because
Oh
I
my
just was like, oh, I'm gonna get the dog some cookies.
Yeah.
Zoe, our dog's name.
No,
So I was like, I'm
they're
gonna get
actually
Zoe
for
some
me.
cookies. I put a bunch of stuff in there, filled the bag up, and then I put a couple of those on top.
Right.
And I like as we were driving home, I like broke one out and I like snapped off a little piece because I was curious.
Oh,
And I'm
Yeah.
like did that little like I was like this like.
Well, kind of half taste.
Yeah, just kind of like just in the tip of my teeth, like,
Oh, yeah,
bite a
yeah.
little piece off, and like chewing it around, like tastes good.
You're
Yeah.
like, actually,
Right.
It's like
not too
I took
bad.
a bite. I was like, this is actually a good cookie. It was hilarious.
wicked
Oh my
funny.
god,
See,
my wife
see,
thought I was
I
crazy.
feel like now at this point you got to make your own dog cookies.
I could.
You know?
Yeah, I
like,
probably could do that,
I wonder
yeah.
if like the
Arf.
mystery gang. or
Whoa!
the-
Hey now.
Yeah. Start turning into like an animorph. Ooh.
Oh man,
Wow. Back to animorphs.
that was funny though. Those cookies were funny. But you're right. Those cookies
Yeah.
are like human cookies.
Well,
some of
that's
those.
what she was telling me that like one time I was in the carriage and she walked away, and she came back and she saw that like I had stuff in my mouth and I was
Yeah.
picking them out. Oh my god!
I will
was
say
like-
the other cookies that were in that bag, they tasted terrible. Oh man,
So
they
you
were
did try the
awful.
other
They were
ones?
not like you. I did try a little bit of all the other ones. Yeah, I was just scared. I'm like, this one's good. Maybe the others are good too. They were all bad except for that one cookie. Those were good. Yeah.
What do you guys call it? Do you call it a shopping cart or a carriage?
shopping cart.
Because when I went
Yeah,
down south,
shopping cart.
when I lived
Carriage.
down,
No, I kind of interchange those honestly.
when I
Yeah.
lived down south for a year, obviously they called them buggies down there.
Okay. Yes, I've heard this. Yeah.
Which
yeah.
I was initially confused about.
Mm.
My friend was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go grab a buggy," and I was like, "Buggy?"
A buggy. Yeah.
But so I called it
Like a what?
I called it a carriage, and she thought that was like super weird. Like
Really?
she thought it was like wicked strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so you've heard about like there's different dialects, or rather different words people use. So like soda, right?
Yeah.
Up here we call it like soda.
Yeah.
Other places in the country they call it pop
Yep.
or tonic.
Yeah.
You know, there's different names for
Or
different
they just call it
things.
Coke.
Or right, yeah, or they just
Even if
refer
it's
to it as
like
Coke.
not
right.
Diet
Right.
Coke.
Yeah, I do that too. I call everything Coke pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's a nice gola, you know.
Yeah. That's kind of funny. See if you could Google that. Is there funny words?
But another funny thing
that people
happened,
use for different items.
I like needed, you know how like if you need like a bag, you just say, oh, can you grab me like a Market Basket bag or something, like because like people know what you're talking about when you say that. I would say like, oh, I need a Market Basket bag, and she'd be like, because they don't have Market Basket down there, they have like Harris Teeter and like Food Line and stuff, and they would be like confused. I was like, oh.
All right,
strange.
So the names for soda, we got a tonic, we got a soft drink, we got soda pop,
yeah,
soda water, and
soda water.
Yeah, some people are calling them carbo.
Huh?
Yeah, carbo. Apparently locally common in Southern Virginia and the Carolinas.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's weird.
That was weird. Carbos, huh?
Those are the ones I'm picking up from
strange.
this Wikipedia page here.
Hey, you know what I want to know about? So you were talking about trash bags. I'm curious to know what people out in Facebook / wherever else you're watching, what you guys think about the trash bag thing. About rather not trash bag, but the store bags, the plastic bags. So we've a lot of towns have banned them. Tyngsborough's one of them. Ours hasn't gone into effect just yet, but a lot of towns have banned these things. And so now you have to either A, make sure and bring your own bags, or B, have to buy bags when you're at the store. They sell those thicker plastic ones. I think they're like, what, 10 cents a piece or something?
Yeah.
And then you can also buy like the dollar bags that are like the...
I think it's really good that they're doing
slightly better bags.
I think it's good that they're doing that. I use all reusable bags, but then when I do get like recyclable bags, I keep them and just use them over again.
See, my problem, I always end up forgetting the stupid things. I mean, it drives me crazy.
I always leave them in my car.
Yeah,
and then I forget. But then I forget when I'm like there, and I'm like, oh.
It drives me crazy. I've even brought them with me. Like my wife will remind me, like, oh, don't forget to bring grocery bags. And okay, I'll bring some bags. I have a pile of them. We have tons of them. My God.
Yep.
With more of those than we did ever with those plastic bags. But then I leave them in my car. I get into the market, and I'm like, half a dozen things in my carriage. I'm like, dang it! Like I forgot to
honestly,
honestly, though, another thing. Oh, and not to cut you off, Kaylee, but
no, you're good.
One of the things though is my mom. Whenever we would go to like fairs, like the health fair in Tyngsborough, like they give out so many of these like tote.
Oh my
bags.
gosh! Yeah.
Oh, everybody's giving them out. Yeah.
And mom would always be like, take them. I'm like, what? Why would we need these? And she's like, trust me. Like,
trust me. You're gonna need them.
Mom's smart 10 years in the future.
I like
them.
Right?
Exactly.
I like the ones that they gave out. Those are pretty nice.
And honestly, I feel like it's another good way, because another thing too, like never go shopping while you're hungry.
That is the golden rule. You cannot go shopping hungry.
Don't do that, because
bad things happen.
Shop with your eyes, as if like there's any other way to shop. But like, point being though, is that you're like, oh wow, like I'm in the mood for that later. You get back home, by the time you eat maybe like one thing. Exactly. I feel like the tote bags are a good reminder and limiter in being like, okay, I plan on getting like maybe like a gallon of milk, and this is what this thing's gonna actually carry. You know, like you don't ever like take anything out from like the checkout that you can't carry.
I honestly find it easier too to like carry all the stuff when they're in the reusable bags rather than the plastic ones. Like I think it's just easier to carry it.
They are easier,
they don't
right?
Rip or
the plastic ones. I've noticed that they got they made them even thinner, as if that was possible, and they rip like crazy.
They rip really
and
easily,
even the paper bags. So I'd gone back to like, all right, I'll take paper because I can at least recycle that. I use it for like bacon grease or whatever.
Yeah. Sure.
And you like there's like two things in it, and you pick the bag up and dang it! Like what the heck? You know, the stuff's falling out, and like come on.
I worked at Market Basket like in high school. I think when I was like a sophomore, and some people would ask for like the plastic outside of the paper bag.
Yes, right. I've seen this too.
I've seen some people have some things.
That's actually a smart way to go.
Yeah.
Though you end up now with double trouble, but
when it's a lot of groceries, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, that does work. But you're right. The other bags, they're much stronger. They work better.
Yeah.
The reusable bags, I like them. We have tons of them. In fact, I've gotten smart. Well, kind of.
I've gotten smart.
I take them with me. Obviously, I try to remember. I take them with me in the store. But then, the cooler bags, the ones that have the padding in them for cooler to keep stuff cold.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, anyways, I'll have those bags open in my carriage, and I'll put like my milk and my cheese, anything that needs to be refrigerated. I'll put that inside those bags. So as I'm going through the store, things aren't like getting warm and ending up, I mean, it makes sense because the store's always kind of cold anyways. But then you can keep your stuff colder for longer, and it's already in the bag. So I put it on the conveyor belt. I unload it onto the conveyor belt. The bag's right there with it, so it just goes right back in the bag. The bagger's job is made easier.
Okay.
So you can shove it all in because I've already clearly fit everything into the bag.
Word.
you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought
Pretty
that was
steep.
smart
Yeah,
advice,
nice.
right?
No,
Is that
yeah, I like
okay?
that.
Good. So
Yeah.
I thought you came up with a good idea.
Going
Yay! All right. I don't know. I thought that was my little brainstorm for that week that I did food shopping.
Brainstorm for the week.
Yeah, you know. My wife laughs at me though because I come home from the grocery store and I'll have like the grocery bill will be like, you know, we can't get a grocery bill under like $200. It's pretty sad actually. Food's gotten really expensive, but but she knows when it's higher, she'll be like, "You went hungry, didn't you?" I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like
Yeah, I
the
did.
difference between stores too. I went to Whole Foods and I went shopping there, and I literally got like 5 items, and it was
Yeah.
like $26. And
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
But their stuff is good. I mean, you know, it's all organic. At
oh
least
yeah,
when you go
it's
to Whole
super
Foods.
high quality,
Yeah.
like good food,
Yeah.
but it's wicked expensive.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
It can be very
holy
expensive.
crap.
I've had odd, and I'm not knocking Trader Joe's, by the way, on this one. We've had some kind of crummy experiences with Trader Joe's in the last
Me
couple
too.
couple years.
Me too.
We'd gotten dog cookies, rice, a couple of different things like that came with like mites and stuff in them. There was like mites in a few of them.
Ew.
The dog cookies had pieces of string, like long pieces of string in the cookies. I don't know, maybe they thought it was fiber, but
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that
I
wasn't
love
good.
Trader Joe's, but I went like 2 weeks ago, and my
Mhm.
yogurt that I got there was like super expired. Like it was like
Oh, really?
disgusting.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And that's not even the first time that's happened with that either. But like,
Mm.
I love Trader Joe's, so like, I'm kind of sad that.
I
have
like
bad
them too. I
experiences
like them
there.
a lot. They have
Yeah.
great flowers, and you can get a lot of the good, like the farm raised meats. And
Organic stuff.
organic
yeah,
stuff,
for
right.
a lot
Wow.
cheaper than
Yeah,
you get it at
but you
Whole
definitely have to be
Foods.
careful because a
You
couple
do.
things I've had some not good experiences with
Yeah.
them. Yeah, so that wasn't fun. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was about to say, I feel like Trader Joe's variety of cheeses and wines,
yes,
dummy, great,
yes,
dumb, affordable.
yes. Well, they have the. It used to be called $2 Chuck. It was like
Oh.
$2 a bottle of wine for their store brand Trader Joe's. Now I think it's like
Wow.
$3 or something like that. So it's not-
Interesting.
or maybe $3.50. But yeah, you're right. They have great cheese selection. They have great wines. They have, I mean, it's a good store. I like
Yeah.
them for a lot of things. But yeah, we had a couple of kind of experiences with
Yeah.
it. So
Right.
not that I stopped going there, but it was one of those. It made me think. Then after I'm like,
It's just like you got to be a conscious shopper.
yes, very much. You can't just toss it in your cart and
No.
like, okay, this will be
Mm.
good. You know. So. Yeah. Oh well, it happens. I've had the same thing happen. Well, similar things anyways happen at like Market Basket
Yeah.
and stuff too. So it's
Mm,
not
yeah.
just Trader Joe's.
No
But
one is safe.
yeah, right. Yes, there's
No one's safe.
no one's safe. Yeah, not even your grocery bags.
True.
So all right, what else do we want to talk about? We're getting down to the end here. We can probably
Oh.
wrap this very soon. We've actually
We actually got this guy who made the surfboard out of coffee cups.
let's show this.
Cool.
I want to see
So
this.
that
This is
that
cool.
was what, New Hampshire, you said?
Yes, New Hampshire.
That's awesome.
So how did he do it? That's what I'm wondering. They were foam cups, I'm imagining, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
he used Dunkin' Donuts coffee cups.
Okay.
I believe he also used. He finished the board with bamboo, epoxy, and like other ingredients. A little concoction there.
Okay.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that is
no,
cool.
It really is, and apparently, like he like did some type of like hard press with it too, like just compressing all the raw materials with it,
Okay.
and that was able to like go onto the water.
What
so
the
that's
heck
like
is that
super,
video below it?
I don't know. I just scrolled up immediately. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's super awesome.
That is
yeah,
really
definitely.
cool. Hampton Falls, New Hampshire. Okay.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
Props to
Yeah.
who is it? What's his name?
His name is.
Give him a shout out.
Corey Nolan.
Okay.
Shout out to Corey Nolan.
Shout out to 32-year-old Corey Nolan.
So he made. I wonder how many coffee cups it took him. Does it say?
Let's see. He said out of 700 coffee cups.
700 coffee cups. Wow.
Yeah.
What does a surfboard cost?
Oh,
Any idea? rough
A lot.
ideas?
A lot.
What?
500
Probably.
bucks? $1,000? I don't know.
Mm.
I've never bought one, so I have no idea.
Me either, but I'm
he
assuming
also
a
said
lot.
that he used 30 plastic straws and other materials to make
That's
the board.
awesome.
Huh. Interesting.
So I guess like out of the 700 cups, it's like you're gonna get some straws in there too.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? So before we wrap this up, let's talk about that too real quick, the straw thing. What do you guys think about this now? You have to, straws are being banned
okay,
everywhere.
so this is my thing.
Like, how are you
about it.
supposed to drink your straw
There's-
kneading beverage?
With their hands, you know.
This is my take. So
You're supposed to like scoop
scoop it with
the
your
drink
hand,
out.
like my
Or
cat does. with
Lap
their
it like a
paw.
dog. Sorry, that was kind of gross. I apologize. Lap it like a dog.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I mean,
tell your story.
so I went
I'm
to.
curious.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it. There's this place. Oh, what the heck is it called? I forget what it's called. Pizza place, and they have like straws that are made from plants, and you would not even tell that like
Really?
it's not plastic.
Okay.
But I feel like there's some situations where people like need straws. Like, what about elderly people that need straws?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Well, they're saying that you have to use those stainless straws. They
Well-
want people to
the
buy those
stainless
reusable ones.
Okay, yeah.
Those ones, and
But-
like again, like I'm kind of relating to the elderly, there's also people with like developmental disabilities too that like do need like certain type of straws.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
And I get like the initial like meaning behind it, where we're trying to do things that like essentially like lessen the amount of plastic that's just being like
which
wasted
I think is
the
great.
way.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thrown into the oceans.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, it goes to a thing where I feel like it involves everybody, even the people who are manufacturing the straws.
Yes.
And where they're putting them. You know, because again, like I feel like a lot of like the recycling stuff does fall on like everybody, like on a lot of us. However, it's just like that also should have the same energy when you're going up to the top.
There's also a lot of other big plastic things that like we aren't focusing on as much. I mean,
There's tons of stuff. Yeah.
like water bottles. I know reusable water bottles are huge, but like still like
we pay more money for water than should actually be allowed. I mean, like really, when you factor it out, that too. But when you factor it out, so like if everybody, where's my water bottle? I think it's in my bag still.
I have mine right here.
There you go. So we all carry water bottles. I don't know if you use one too.
Yeah, no,
right?
I got
Okay.
one in my
So
car, yeah.
we all use like a reusable water bottle. Filling that water bottle costs you like, if you go to the bubbler at home, if you have good clean water or whatever, like a penny or two. And then you buy these bottled waters. Like I like the Fiji water sometimes. If I'm in a store, that's usually the one I grab because
Really?
I like it.
I'm a Poland Springs girl.
Yeah. Okay. But so we spend that Fiji bottle of water costs like what, $2.50, $3, $3.50, and
It's
I've
like-
just paid that much for what should cost me like a penny or two maybe. I mean, legitimately, like
Right.
we're spending tons of money on water, but then on top of it, you add all the plastic. And I think where it comes in is we've had the convenience factor of it. You know, like, oh, I can grab a bottle of water and I can take off with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
people are like, it's almost like we have to retrain ourselves to not be so lazy to like, I just want to grab this bottle of water and go. Use your own reusable container and you won't have to worry about it. You can always fill it up wherever you are. If you have a water source there, you can refill it. You know,
Yeah.
kind of makes sense. I mean, we do that. One of the first things I do when I get to work is I fill up my water bottle, then I come down and start doing my work.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure.
but
I would actually wonder, like, what would it look like if, like, certain water companies actually manufactured, like, their own bubble? Imagine if you could see, like, a Fiji water bubbler.
that'd be cool.
And it's only accessible to people with the Fiji reusable cups.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh,
Yeah.
imagine that.
How would you lock that out though?
I am assuming the same way that they did in
Technology, man.
Orlando, Florida, when I was at
Maybe like a retinal
Universal.
scanner or something?
Yeah, no, they have ways to do that kind of stuff.
I mean,
for
I'm sure I'm just
They
kidding.
do. It's like,
I want a glass of water. Put your face into the machine.
It scans your whole face.
wow.
It's like something out of Total Recall or whatever.
Ooh, yeah, no, I
Oh my god, that's
It's like
awesome.
throwing back to like segregation times. But instead of like race, it's called
I'm sorry,
class.
sir. You have a Poland Springs bottle. You're not allowed here. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Crazy.
Oh my
Wow,
goodness.
this is a loose Friday wrap up.
Yeah.
Yes, this is very loose. Here, so Dolly says, before there were plastic straws, there were paper straws. Yes, I have seen these and
I
used them,
remember
actually.
those.
You can still buy them, too.
Yeah.
They had a waxy texture and were biodegradable. See, we already had the solution, and we changed over. And I'll bet you $20 the reason why they switched over was because I bought the paper straws. They get soggy after a
Yeah,
little
that's
while.
what I was gonna say. That was like the one issue I
Right.
had
Ooh,
with them
yeah.
was that they got
But
soggy,
if they're waxy, if they're coated in wax, you're
No
good to go.
problem.
There's no problem. It'll stay the
Yeah.
way it needs to be. Just like what. So you mentioned the
ones-
biodegradable ones.
you can't even tell. Like
right.
they looked exactly like plastic straws.
So they've made utensils, plastic utensils, eating utensils out of cornstarch. And in fact, I think there's a company in Lowell that does it.
Oh,
Lowell,
that's cool.
downtown, somewhere in Lowell. But yeah, they make them out of cornstarch, and so you throw them in a landfill. It's cornstarch. It dissolves,
Yeah.
turns into cornstarch again.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool. But it was just like the Dunkin' Donuts surfboard. It's just pressed with whatever, and you can use it. And the only caveat was if they get warm, and this might be the problem with the straws too. If you're using not that you'd use a straw for a warm liquid necessarily, but if you're using it in a warm item, that would kind of melt the.
Right.
It would melt.
Yeah.
Kind of, the utensil
But you
wouldn't hold
wouldn't
up
ever,
as well.
You wouldn't really ever use a straw with hot
Right.
liquids.
I mean, the only thing I can think is like sometimes I'll
Like a
put a
tea?
stir
I
stick
don't know.
in my coffee, and I might
Yeah.
sip it out of that
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
to start, but that doesn't really happen all that
Yeah.
I
often.
feel
So
like we just need to come down to a point where we get edible utensils.
yeah, that'd be good, right?
Yeah.
I've seen some things like that.
Yeah, that.
The bowls.
Well, that
the
lends
edible
back to
bowls.
freeganism. Let's just.
Let's
Why not?
guys, let's be freakins. Let's do it.
I would. Oh man.
Imagine like a bread bowl. Like bread bowls exist.
Oh my gosh, I had one yesterday with my soup.
Bread
Awesome.
bowls
Yeah,
exist.
Panera.
Yeah.
Bread bowls, absolutely best
Super
thing in the
awesome.
world.
We need
It's
bread
great.
tapes, bread plates, bread napkins.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Bread napkins actually.
Bread napkins.
telling
That's
you.
something.
It would be like, all right, so you remember Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory?
Oh,
You're
yeah,
onto
yeah.
something.
When he has
Yeah.
the pulls the flour off
Oh,
the
the
thing and he
cup.
drinks the
he
liquid
bites
and then
it.
he takes a bite out of it. and
I
eats
always
it.
thought that was so cool.
That was great. I loved that too. This
Oh,
is
man.
Gene Wilder. I miss him.
Thought that
Miss
was
him
cool.
so much.
R.I.P.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean we're there. I think we just need to brainstorm. We're like circling back to what Dolly said with the biodegradable paper wax coated straws. The only problem I have with the ones that they want people to buy, like the stainless ones, is how do you clean it? I mean, you got to get up inside the straw
Oh, yeah,
because you leave your
That's
straw,
true.
you let it sit on the counter in the drink,
Sure.
and it gets gross in there. It's
I
gonna
mean,
get
you can
nasty.
let water run through it, but even then,
Even
I
then, you're
still
not getting
don't-
enough pressure to
Yeah.
really
They
like
will,
you know.
Like
also,
phone
for
cleaning.
the low price of $9.99, will sell you a little kind of like plastic tube cleaner.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That is
that's right. That's
also,
true.
you can't
I should know
recycle.
that. Yeah, I have baby bottle cleaning stuff at home, so I should know that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they have the little small things, and I can fit down in like the straw. So yeah, I guess that makes sense.
It won't be a given, but they'll make you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll sell it for like $9.99.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh,
Act now, and you'll get 2 for the low price of $14.99. 3 easy payments. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. We're having fun today. Just kind of goofing off. Raysam, can you pull up the weather real quick? We're gonna show this off. So, just as a reminder, again, this was just a fun show. We're just kind of goofing a bit, riffing on different subjects. But tune in on Monday to the Boston Marathon. You will get to see one of Tyngsborough's own, Miss Beth Craig. She is running for Team Hoyt. Very excited. It's gonna be really cool. If you wanted to see some interviews on her, just what she's doing, you can check out. There's a couple of Facebook interviews we did. One was at the health fair with her blade, which she won't be running with at this marathon. But also earlier in the year, a couple months back, we did a really cool interview just sitting here in the studio, so chatting with Beth about her aspirations and running and all that fun stuff. So that's gonna be really cool. So tune into that on Monday. You can cheer her on as she runs in what I think is gonna be a rainy, crummy. Is that you get the weather up now, Raysam? Is that National Weather Service?
This
Is that
is
different?
actually weather.com.
Oh, okay, that's fine too. All right, yeah. So what are they saying right now for Monday's rain, thunder showers? 66 degrees. But the weekend otherwise looks like it's going to be nice. Today, 51. It's been cold lately still.
Yes, it
Yes.
has.
Spring will not let. I mean,
Glitter,
rather winter will not let go and let spring
Yeah.
move in. It's really
There's
annoying.
one single yellow flower, like I don't know if it's a tulip or whatever,
Yeah.
in like the woods of my house. It's so cute.
Oh my
like,
God, take a
just-
picture of it because
yeah.
that's probably the
My
last one
mom
you'll ever
did.
see
My mom did. She posted a picture of
till
it.
next year.
Yeah, but I'll do it after. But
And then and then Saturday 73, so it's going to be beautiful tomorrow. Sunday 64, and then 66 on Monday with the rain, and then the rest of the week looks like upper 50s and low 60s. So yeah, it's just winter hanging on.
It is what it
it's
is.
hanging on. Yeah, it is what it is. There's not much we can do about it, unfortunately. So that's what's happening, anyways. Definitely check out Beth on Monday. Watch her, and as I mentioned, if you wanted to get some of the news that happened, just roll back to the beginning of the show. You can hear the news that we talked about as far as what's going on in town. You might have to skip through a couple of
tangents.
couple of tangents that we went off on, but it was fun. We had
Sit
fun.
through them. Sit through them.
Sit
They're
through them.
fun.
They were fun. They were fun. Yes, I agree. They were definitely a lot of fun. Take it easy, John, and everybody else for watching. Hope you guys had some fun. Got a good laugh out of what we were talking about. And all that said, folks, I hope you guys have a really great weekend. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. That really helps us get around all the algorithms so that people will actually see this stuff in their feeds. And you can also watch this stuff on Comcast 8, Verizon 29, and at tyngsboroughma.gov. So lots of different ways you can watch it. Also, quick note, don't forget that any past meetings that you want to watch from the town government stuff or these programs, you can watch at tyngsboroughma.gov. So if you want to keep up with what's going on in selectmen meetings, conservation, so on and so forth, you can watch all that stuff at our video on demand as well. So lots and lots of things available for you there. That's all available at tyngsboroughma.gov. So don't forget that one. Definitely bookmark that page. It's really handy. Yeah, have a great weekend. Enjoy. I'll see you on Tuesday with the news. And don't forget, Town Hall is closed on Monday, so don't come down here and try to pay your taxes because you won't be able to. Not that you probably want to anyways. But anyways, have a good weekend, everybody. Take it easy. We'll see you next time. Bye.